Hey guys, welcome to shop. Today we're going to talk about Feng Shui. I guess that's what you call it, Feng Shui, and kind of workflow and basically finding your damn tools so you can work in a timely manner. If we're going to call a spade a spade. So I rearranged the shop. As you can see, if you've been following the channel, you'll know that the mill and the lathe have swapped places. And the reason is, I think it's nicer if you can see the head of the mill than the foot. You guys tell me. So we did that because, frankly, it makes the two machines easier to work at. So because the mill is kind of narrower side to side than the lathe is, now I have more room to work around it between the drill press and the mill. And it also helps because like these two machines share tools to an extent. At least when it comes to drill bits, counterbores, countersinks, and taps. So, it makes more sense to have those guys consolidated. And what I was thinking is I can move a lot of my tools that I had in my blue tool cart, you see over there, over, I think maybe to one of my Kennedy boxes and move the stuff from the Kennedy box into that blue box, because that blue box is kind of just going to live in the corner now. But what I also realized, just so I'm not walking, you see that little caddy with the crank and my hammer sticking out of it? So I can just take the tools I need out of my blue box, you see in the corner I'm pointing at, and carry them over to the mill instead of walking back and forth. And I can move more of my lathe tools over to that blue box so I'm not walking back and forth, because it's all about how do I take the fewest number of steps in a day. And I think that's what your shop layout should be, is how is it the easiest possible way to get heavy things where they need to go? Which is why I spent, half the day the other day swapping these machines back and forth. And I didn't really take any videos because it's not something that could be filmed well. Because at one point, I had to walk around from this side of the shop back around to come out behind my blue box because there wasn't really any room to maneuver. There's no easy way to set the shop up like that. It's all climbing over and around stuff, because these are big and heavy. It's the Bridgeport with all my tools on it and the vise on it, I think is like 2,150 pounds, give or take. It's pretty heavy. And I think the lathe, I have it ballasted. I think the lathe's in the neighborhood of 2,000 pounds now. Probably closer to 16 or 1,700. It's not light at all. I've got at least 400 or 500 pounds of lead in the bottom of the cabinets, because the mass loading basically, or mass dampening, takes up a lot of the vibrations. I get a much better surface finish, and I can push the machine a lot harder without getting chatter, which is nice. But also, I have just the camera on a tripod, so it's steadier, and we don't have shaky cam. I don't think this is an M. Night Shyamalan film. But you see how much more room there is around the lathe. I'll just walk over here. I have a lot more room for activities over here than I used to, and I am actually standing up straight. This shop is just so far off level, it screws with you. Depending on where you are, I'll put the shelves deliberately off level because it drives me crazy seeing how far off level they are. And that is just a project. And you see, we got a lot of our used lathe tooling up in the corner, got our quick change holders over there. I can't find a stud in that corner for the life of me, because I think there's about 4 inches of sheetrock. So you can barely see where I Stevie Wondered my way into the wall, just measuring off where I knew studs were. Didn't work out for me. We're going to have to patch that sheetrock. Oh well. Live and learn. But what we also did is I got the engine hoist tucked back in here, so it's not in the way of anything. And what I can do too is I can actually swivel the head on the Bridgeport this way or this way, and I can use it as kind of an impromptu radial arm drill if need be, which I think is a good plus for this position, because I can crank the table all the way over this way, out of the way, and we have plenty of room down there to put big heavy parts. I got my oil cans there. I think I'm going to rig up a stand for that work light so I can actually mag it to the Bridgeport, or build a bracket that clamps onto the head. I think that would be ideal, actually, clamping it on. But I'm wondering how long the bulbs will last under vibration. That's kind of just my one question. So if any of you guys have played with that, let me know. I would appreciate it. But I hope this gets you thinking about how to set your shop up so you've got good workflow and contain your mess. So I want my chips as much as possible in this back corner, as far away from customers. But I also want my grit blown away from my other precision machines, off the grinders. So what you don't see on camera is I've set the airflow in the shop up actually goes this way. So it's flowing kind of back around when I have this front HEPA filter running. I have two HEPA filters in the shop, and one sucks the air one way and one sucks the air the other way. And I do that on purpose. So when the grinders are running, I want the air going towards the garage door. So if I leave the garage door open, the grit just goes outside, which is ideal. But just because of the operator position on the milling machine, I want the air in my shop going this way when I'm running that, because it sucks the smoke away from me instead of into my face. And that's something I like to think about. I'm really kind of flirting more with using a lot of anchor lube because it doesn't make any fumes and it's just more pleasant to work around, but it kind of sucks as a cutting oil. You see a lot of the YouTubers use it, but I think a lot of the people using it are either hobbyists or paid to promote it. It's not a bad product for what it is, but it's not ideal. And as much as I hate to say it, on that shelf, the best actual cutting oil I have in the shop is this really scary sulfochlorinated stuff that's illegal to sell because it's also got, I think, TCE in it, which is tetrachloroethylene, which is pretty nasty stuff. So I don't really use it. I have it. I don't want it on my skin because I don't want liver cancer. And I'm switching over to organic stuff. So I use mineral lard oil, and in that little tubby thing, that is coconut oil. So I'm using organic lubes because they're a pretty good compromise between smoke, performance, and toxicity. The mineral lard oil is still half mineral oil, but it doesn't have any additives. So it's basically just industrial grade mineral oil, which means it's not processed to food safety standards, but it doesn't have any additives in it. So it's not stuff you want to be drinking or swimming in, but it's not going to kill you, to the best of my knowledge. Just always to the best of my knowledge. And we also moved, that level is going to go back in its hidey hole, but I put the chucks for the lathe over here so I just don't have to walk far with them. Try not to go on adventures to find your tools, and what I was hoping to do is hoping to have one continuous shelf all the way across for tool holders, because eventually I will get a lot of them. But you see my big Chungus boring bar and my other used tools, so they're there. And there's a lot of stuff in the shop, as you can see. It is quite cozy in here. And, no matter how much space you have, you're going to fill it. And in every flat surface. I mean, that's the transmission filter for my pickup. I got to swap that soon because plowing in the winter is tough on transmission fluid, and transmissions are expensive, so I don't cook those. This other side of the shop, I'm just picking the tripod up over things. This side of the shop's more or less kind of hodgepodge. You can see all the stuff just tucked in what I thought was going to be a spray booth. But what I was actually thinking of, if I can run a 220 outlet to that back corner where the DeWalt chop saw is, I could actually put my surface grinder kind of blowing into that spray booth, and I could suck all the grit directly outside. But you see I got my mini split head up top, so that's why the big, really efficient, suck the life out of you HEPA filters there. So that runs when everything else is running, and that keeps the mini split a lot cleaner. And a clean mini split is an efficient mini split. And it's also a mini split you're not calling the HVAC guy to spend money on. So that's another thing. Shop cleanliness really does matter. As much as this place is physically a mess, it's really not that dirty considering what goes on in here. Because the messes are you all try to contain them, but you also sweep. So I sweep the shop twice a day when I'm in here. I sweep it at lunchtime and I sweep it at the end of the day. And the more you sweep, the easier it is to keep clean, and it's also easier to stay motivated to keep it clean You know, like obviously you can see I was cutting in the back. That's going to get shop vacked up first thing tomorrow when I'm properly motivated, because it's, I think, 6 or 7 on a Friday when I record this, and I'm just exhausted. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this helps someone who's thinking about getting started in not just hobby machining, but like really any sort of hobbyist thing that requires tools that are heavy and hard to move around. Like, think about your shop flow, guys. You know, plan on where does it go, and have 5-gallon buckets everywhere. Like, you're gonna have a million of them. I think I got 4 in all different corners of the shop to collect trash, because you're less likely to just throw your stuff on the floor if you don't have to go far to throw it out. And it makes it a lot easier to deal with your trash if it's easy to deal with your trash, you know? So again, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm really thrilled with the support I've been getting. You know, it's, at time of recording, I think I got like 302 or 304 subs, and the channel growth has just been awesome. So thank you.